Hey guys, Luke here. I'm here to preview round 10 of the 2015 NRL season. Now we're going to go straight into the Bulldogs taking on the Roosters. Now last week I predicted the Bulldogs to win, and this is coming from the Bulldogs fan, so there's probably going to be a lot of bias in this, so it's just, just a warning. Sorry Roosters fans. So I predicted them to beat the Cowboys. Didn't happen. But part of it was true. I thought that they would, fire up a little bit. It took until the second half, and to be honest, threw it away. A little bit of inexperience there from Mumbai. Some crucial mistakes, missed tackles and that. In saying that though, I think it'll be a much improved, or even more improved this week. Taking on the Roosters back in Sydney, not having to take on Thurston, should be a big help. Starters shouldn't have any problem getting up for the game with the halves pairings taking on each other for New South Wales spots, like they're up in contention. Another week back for Josh Morris. We got James Graham. This is the most important one, to be totally honest with you. James Graham back this week. Sometimes, like in the forwards without him, just missed a little bit of leadership, I think, a little bit of direction, because, as much of a great forward he is, it's almost like another half as well, so just directing the team around a little bit, sort of there, barking orders, that sort of stuff. So you definitely miss him when he's on the field, and I think we got a terrible record without him. Also, another one that people probably missed, that was Greg Eastwood. He missed last week, and he's another one who's a big, he's a big game player. When there's big games, like games against Roosters, games against Cowboys, Rabbitohs, semi-final, grand finals, all that sort of stuff, he really steps up in those sort of games. So, definitely a big in for the Bulldogs having Eastwood back. Also, the bench has playing a little bit of a mind games here. You've got Mbai in the 17, Clemmer not in there. Clemmer 100% being in the team. Mbai will probably come in for Chase Stanley, I would assume, and then, or Mbai will drop out. For Roosters, but I think they looked very good last week. I'm not really sure about Hastings on the bench. Maybe it's just Jake Frank can't go the 80 or something, but I'd assume he probably could. But they've got a pretty good all-round side. Orbison in the centres probably limits their attacking side down there, but I suppose it cuts out whoever's who he's up against, and if he's up against Rona and Morris in that, that could be a good move from them, considering how deadly Rona's been. Tuivasa-Sheck still playing pretty good, and I think for Roosters, best thing for them is that Pearce and Maloney are starting to fire, which is very good for them. But based on my Bulldogs bias, I'm just going to say Bulldogs can win. I'm not going to give scorelines, that sort of stuff, because who cares about that. Cowboys and Broncos, they're the next one. So it is a derby. A little bit different to what it's been in the past. A lot of the time it's been Broncos, being the big name team, being full of internationals and rep players and that sort of stuff. And while it still is that, Cowboys are right beside them as well. So they're pretty much equals these days. You could probably say Cowboys are, a bit ahead of them even. Although Broncos are coming first on the ladder. The ladder doesn't really matter at this stage in the comp. In terms of who I think is going to win, I'm going to say Cowboys, based on the fact that it's at 1300 Smiles Stadium. And just due to the fact that I don't think Thurston played particularly that well last week, but Michael Morgan stepped up when it counted. And I think that's what's been good about their spine. For the longest time, Cowboys have been missing good spine. They've had good individual players in amongst that spine, but they haven't had a complete spine, and I think Granville completes that, as well as Lachlan Coote as well. He's come back pretty strong, a lot stronger than what I ever thought he was going to be totally honest with you. I'm not really sure about the centres. Maybe that's somewhere they could take advantage of, with the Broncos could take advantage of. Also the 4-pack, it's like the Bulldogs game last week. I think Broncos, if they decide to just sort of go through the middle, that could happen. But I don't know. Maybe I'm totally wrong there. But I'm going to say a Cowboys win 1-12, just due to the fact that two Queensland teams taking on each other, usually pretty close. Although I will say the Broncos, they are surprising me this year. And Darius Boyd, another weekend, should be a lot better for them. So I wouldn't be surprised if they win, to be honest with you. But I'm just going to go Cowboys, just because, really. Next game is the Eels taking on the Warriors. Now, two sides that they have the potential to just explode and destroy sides. Or maybe not so much this week now that Sando's not playing, but I think the Warriors just been in a little bit better form, not a little bit, they've been in way better form than Eels. Eels have been total shit, to be honest with you. Their side, I don't know, it looks like a team that should be sort of like it should be an overachieving side without being great, but at the same time they're just not playing great. I don't know if that's the coach's fault, their fault. I know they had a lot of injuries at the start, but the injuries are sort of faded away, and you got Semi Radradra back in that. I know their strategy at the start of the year was to get to Radradra and he'd just go over and score. Probably not working these days. Corey Norman been playing okay, but everyone else sort of, I don't know, just not really doing much. Anthony Watt may have been terrible for Eels. Warriors on the other hand, they're finally starting to fire. I think Jonathan sort of found his mojo again. I think the international break was a perfect time for him. Although we do tend to get caught up a little bit with Sean Johnson and how good he's playing. Like, he'll come off like he did last week with some incredible plays. But like, if you look at the rest of his game, he could be just having an average game. But like, that's all he needs to do. Just don't play total shit and then come up with a bit of magic every now and again. And then you can be a great half. Townsend does a great job in doing his part. So pressure's off Johnson a little bit. And I think Illawarra at hook has been great for them. Lolohea getting a little bit more adjusted to the fullback role, although I suppose there might be a chance that Tompkins could be back for them. I don't really know, but I think Tompkins would just complete that side. But I'm going to say Warriors 13 plus. I think it'll be pretty comfortable in the end. There might be a little bit of a game where it'll be a little bit of an arm wrestle, but yeah, I can just see Eels just falling over when it counts and Warriors running away with it. Titans and the Sharks, the next game, and it's at Titans home ground. This is a tough one to pick. I am going to say Titans based on the fact that it's at Titans home ground, and they've been pretty good. Like, I think Titans have actually been pretty solid this year, without being spectacular or like that particular good. Against some of the not so good sides, they've been pretty good, and I'm not sure where Sharks really stuck up in this. I don't know if they're a good side or if they just came up against some good sides at some good times, or what's to go with them. I think they're a team that's a little bit hot and cold as well. When everyone's fire, I mean, this could go for everybody when I say hot and cold, but I don't know. I'm still not sold of a Robson and Bird halves pairing, and it's not due to the fact of Jack Bird being a bad player in that. It's just I don't know if he's a half, more so than just a good player who's been thrown into the 5'8" role because no one else can play there. Michael Gordon still on the wing, Holmes on the wing, Barber. I want Barber to be good. There's a part of me that wants Barber to be good, but I just don't think it's going to happen. He's just lost it. I think they'd be better off. Like, I really feel bad for Michael Gordon. He just keeps getting shifted at all the clubs he goes to. He goes there, gets their player of the years and that sort of stuff, and then ends up getting shafted to the wing or has to leave and that sort of stuff. So yeah, disappointed for him. Blake Ashford back in the centres. Now, I know the last few years has been a bit of a laughing stock, but I'm pretty curious to see how Ashford goes, because I thought in the Nines he looked pretty good, and I know it's just the Nines, but I thought he just, I don't know, looked back to normal. I don't know if that's right, but that's what we're going to go with. In terms of where the game's going to be won, I think Titans have a better forward pack overall. I mean, for like the starting sides, they're pretty even, but I think when you get to like the benches and that sort of stuff, I think they're a little bit better. Actually, probably not. I don't know. I just think Titans are going to win. I don't really know why particularly, but yeah, I'm going to say 1-12, possibly 13 plus. I don't know. Storm taking on the Rabbitohs. I think this is possibly match of the round. I know it could be one of the two. It could be any one of the Friday night ones, but I'm going to go with Storm versus Rabbitohs. Oh, actually, you know what? No, I'm not. But yeah, Storm versus Rabbitohs. Storm in great form. They've been playing great all season. Billy Slater's back. A huge inclusion for them. I know he did play last week, but yeah, just huge for them. Although their replacement's been doing pretty well, but yeah. And while while Storm are getting players back in, Rabbitohs are losing players again. I don't know if Sutton's going to play. We saw like Reynolds is out again for a while, and to be totally honest with you, I know they got Inglis in that, but I think with no Adam Reynolds, no Rabbitohs, and I think Storm will win pretty comfortably in the end. I just think that they don't have the forward pack to overcome losing Reynolds these days. Like, if they had Sam Burgess in that, maybe, but I just can't see it these days. So I'm going to say Storm 13 plus. Dragons versus the Raiders. Now, this has actually been a great contest in previous years. I know the sort of voodoo's been gone a little bit these days, and I think it might be only in Canberra or whatever. But anyways, like these two teams have pretty good rivalry, I'd have to say. Both in relatively good form. I mean, Dragons sort of dropped off a little bit, although they did take on a pretty good Rabbitohs side. Raiders also having some like great form as well. So, I'm really looking forward to this game. I will say Raiders to win. Actually, I don't really know. It's it's right down the middle here. Either side can win. Definitely some falls in against for both sides winning. I think Dragons got a great defense. Don't particularly have a great attack. Raiders, on the other hand, just seem to be all around pretty good, pretty strong. I'm very impressed with the Raiders. I think I'll go with Raiders just due to the fact that I think they've got enough off the cuff players to sort of trouble the Dragons, so like Austin and that sort of stuff. Although I'm not really sure Cornish. I know Sam Williams been doing a great job. He's not playing this week. At least he's not named anyways. I'm not sure how Mitch Cornish should go, but I'm sure he'll probably do a good job. I just think Raiders probably just have too much in attack, and Dragons can't defend forever. And I will say 1-12, by the way. Knights versus Tigers is the second last game. And in this game, I'm going to pick the Tigers just due to the fact that Knights are crap in the halves. And I don't really know Gagai at fullback. I like Gagai. I'm sure he's a pretty good fullback. It's more the fact that he's been really good in the centres. Him and Leilua have been outstanding in the centres so far. I just don't know. I don't know what's gone wrong for the Knights, apart from obviously their half turn of shit. Particularly Tyron Roberts has not impressed me at all this year. But Mullen is the Knights, let's be honest, these days. He's the Knights, and without him, they are nothing, much like the Rabbitohs. So Rabbitohs obviously a better team in general. I think Tyler Randall, a hooker, he really impressed me last week. I thought he was good. I think Bo Scott and Tarek Sims in particular, really need to step up, really need to show their worth here. But yeah, I think Tigers, although young, they just got too much in attack for Knights, I think. I think they just have too much all over the park. Although if Knights are to be any chance, they just want to have Bo Scott and Tarek Sims just try and take out the halves bearings all day. That's what their plan should be. Just try and bother them as much as possible. In saying that though, I'm going to say Tigers 13+. The final game of the round is the Seagulls taking on the Panthers. Now, a few weeks ago, I probably would have said this is a bit of a cripple fight. Not really a great contest, but they've recovered from a few injuries here. Seagulls are looking a little bit better. Although they beat was it Knights last week. Knights not impressive at all to me, but at the same time, Seagulls were pretty impressive. I got to say that. However, Panthers as well were pretty impressive. Pretty good defense. Although the attack wasn't really spot on, but that's always going to happen. Soward and Coruscant, they'll take a little bit of time to gel, but I think Soward is a huge plus for them. We saw he sort of, I wouldn't say he carried them to their position last year in the semi-final, but definitely was a huge part in that. Obviously, everybody played their part. Segi Arrow back is a huge inclusion for them. Massive inclusion. I think this is his first game back, and due to the fact that he's playing, I will say Panthers will win, and I'm going to say they'll probably win pretty comfortably, 13+. I think they got the forward-pack to really intimidate Manly, and the backs to sort of deal with Seagulls, although Wateen Zelezniak, Wangan Blake in the centres, they got an inexperienced back line, but I'm sure they're capable of dealing with Lyon and Matai. At least I hope so, based off my tips anyways. That's the end of the round though, or the round preview. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. Hopefully you can leave a like, subscribe to my channel, leave your predictions in the comments of who's going to win and all that sort of stuff. And hopefully, with any luck, there's going to be another video out later today going over Rugby League Live 3 screenshots. So go check that out. And also, if you want to follow me on Twitter, at Mr. Luke on my T's, my Twitter handle. And yeah, make sure you like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye guys.